Hi all, welcome back to the channel. Right, okay, so what have I been up to? Well, a few weeks ago, a month ago, I went for the MRI scan, fine. Moving forward, the weekend just gone was the National Mills weekend here in the UK, and myself and 3 other amateurs from our radio club, we all decided to go to Ashton Mill, which is in Somerset. I'll pop a couple of photographs up of the mill. It's a beautiful place. The weekend didn't go to plan. So the station was set up, we switched on the radios and were met by silence. The day before, this is going to sound very geeky, the sun had a CME, or a coronal mass ejection, of a category G5, which in layman's terms is the surface of the sun has erupted, a bit like a volcano erupts. Think of it on the surface of the sun, and throws, instead of magma, it throws high charged particles into space. We were directly in line with this ejection, so we got the whole blast of it. For those that were interested in watching it, the Northern Lights were really strong on the Friday, right down into the southwest of England, Cornwall and things like that was seeing it. Unfortunately, I was asleep because I had to be up early in the morning, so I missed it. That wiped out most of the radio bands, and we were listening to nothing, absolutely nothing. In fact, I think the best we did was a contact in the Netherlands. I know we only worked 3 stations in the whole time we were working there, which is pretty bad. I mean, even on a bad day, that is bad. Other thing which was a problem, it was a lovely spring hot day, which I don't know if you guys suffer from it as well, but my MS, I don't know what it does, it just reacts to anything nice. My legs turned jelly and it was awful. I was drinking, so I wasn't dehydrated, but I don't know. Anyway, about 3/4 of the way through the day, nothing happening, so we decided to knock the station on the head because there's just no point in carrying on. We stopped and I said, I need to go and sit in the car for 5 or 10 minutes before you take the station down, with the aircon on to just cool down because I was so hot. I stood up and then sat down again. I stood up and then I sat back down again. I just couldn't get myself to balance correctly. I don't know. It was almost like I had a UTI, which my body just stops working. I get balance all over the place. But I know I've been drinking and I haven't had a UTI for a long time. So, and I didn't have any of the other symptoms with it that I normally get. So after a little while, I managed to get up and kind of balance and started to walk back to the car. Now, from my car to where I was operating from, the radio station, I don't know, 100 feet, if that. I'll send some photographs of it again. You'll see where we were working from. Anyway, I started walking across the field back to the car, and my left leg is dead. I can't feel it. It's just numb. It's almost like it's not there, and it's dragging, and I can't feel it dragging, but I know it is dragging because I can hear it. There's a couple of times I actually stopped thinking I need to sit down. However, if I sit down, I'm not going to be able to get back up again, so I just got to keep going. And keep going and keep going and keep going. And as I'm getting further across the field towards my car, my legs are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Anyway, long story. I get to the fence, which is, well, it's a gate, sorry. My car is parked around about 3 meters the other side of it, about 6-8 foot away from this gate. And I pushed my walker up to the gate so it wouldn't roll any further, And I thought, right, I can now sit down, because if I stand up, the buggy's not going to go shooting backwards or anything. So I pushed the buggy up towards the thing, took a step forward, or rather I thought I took a step forward, and my leg isn't where I think it is, and I end up crashing to my knees. And I then gracefully roll over onto my side, and that's it, I'm on the floor. And I'm looking at things. I'm on my own, because the other guys that were walking with me had gone off to look at some positions for aerials and things. If we were going to come down the Sunday, they wanted to make it a lot easier for me to get to it instead of going across the field. So they were busy looking at aerials, and eventually they did find me on the floor. However, from experience, when I've gone crashing to the floor, I've ended up usually having to get an ambulance out to help me back up, because I just can't stand up. I can't control my legs enough to put my leg in the right place to stand. And so I contacted the ambulance service, and they said they would come out and help, but they were busy, so it'd be a couple of hours. So I spent the rest of the afternoon lying on the grass, looking like a stranded whale and feeling sorry for myself. Well, not sorry, but stupid. I actually felt really stupid. My legs I couldn't feel them. One of the guys had to move my legs because they were a bit twisted, and he straightened them out for me. I couldn't feel them. It was really weird. Long story, I was there for 6 hours, and eventually my two daughters said they were going to come down from Bristol, which is about a 50-minute drive, 50 minutes. And once they get that in their mind, they ain't going to stop. They're going to come down. So they came down, and by the time they got there, this is about 9:10 in the evening now. Now remember, I fell. It just gone 3 o'clock, and I'm still waiting for an ambulance. And anyway, the girls arrived, and after the initial sort of greetings, because a couple of the guys stayed as well, which they didn't need to do, but they did, I ended up having to basically feel really stupid. However, because the temperature had dropped a lot and the evening was quite cool, I could actually feel my legs again. It's really weird. This sort of, the sensation of them being there returned, and it didn't feel like there were lumps of lead. So I actually managed to get over up onto my knees, and with a little tiny bit of help, the guys were stood around me. So the two guys in the radio club and my two daughters were stood around me. So if I sort of started to fall anyway, they could grab me or sort of stop me. But I managed to kneel in front of my walker. One of the guys positioned my leg underneath me, because I couldn't feel it. But once I knew it was there, I could see it, I actually managed to stand up again. So we were back up on our feet. This is about 9:30 now in the evening. Get in the car, switch the air conditioning on. This thing's got heat, cool seats and things. Put the seat coolers on as well, and just sat in the car. I did phone the emergency services to cancel the ambulance, because remember, we're still waiting for it. And I was on hold for probably about 8 minutes before they finally answered. And they did apologise for the ambulance not being there, because they're just so busy, and were really pleased that I had actually phoned them and cancelled the ambulance. There's two parts to that. They were happy I phoned, and the second part, they were happy I cancelled the ambulance. But that was my stupidness on the Saturday. We didn't do the event on Sunday, mainly because conditions weren't great on the radio, because this sun mass ejection thing's still a problem. And the other thing is the guys were worried about me coming back down again, which is fair enough. So what we've taken away from that is we need to reevaluate where we are and what we're doing and things like that, because I'm not as good as I thought I was, which is a pain in the ass, which I hate. The grass wasn't particularly long. It had been cut recently. I'm just no good on odd surfaces and in the heat. And then if you mix the two together, you know, I feel embarrassed about falling and letting the guys down and things. And these two guys have stayed behind with me. They could have gone home. I asked them to go home. They wouldn't. They stayed. What I have done is I've bought them a couple of bottles of whiskey between them. I hope they drink whiskey. I know one does. I'm not sure about the other, but if he doesn't, then well, he can sell it on. But anyway, it's just that I'm just really appreciative for them staying and helping. They didn't need to. And on Monday, one of them actually called me to ask me how I was, in myself, and what we were going to do. And he was talking about not doing any more special events or remote stations, not just because of myself falling, it's just that we didn't seem to get the support from the club. So this Friday we're going to be talking to the club about where we go, etc. So that's on the agenda. What else? Well, today I've been to Southmead Hospital. I've been there because I had to go for my 6-monthly blood test for the Kesimpta. That again was problematic. I had to go in, have the bloods and get home again because my wife is working this afternoon, and sort of getting up there and coming back again didn't leave a lot of space. It's probably about 10 minutes sort of spare time really between them. So anyway, I go, and where she normally does the bloods, it's about here. Sorry, no, it's about there where my finger is. And usually no problem at all, get blood out of it. Not today. And I think that's because I was in a rush. So she tried on the, again you can't see it, it was there, back of my hand, and still couldn't get bloods properly. She'd get a little bit, but it was like a dribble. And she had to then get one of the staff nurses to come and do my bloods, and they actually did it just here, actually about there on my arm, which is unusual. I've never had blood taken there before. As I said, I had to then drive from there home, and then my wife grabbed her lunch and we then went to work, and she made it to work with about, as I said, a space of about 10 minutes to go. So she's all right. And I've got to go and pick her up at 9:30 this evening. So where I am at the moment is a place called Tog Hill, which is just outside of Bristol. It's about, I don't know, 15 minutes from where I live. I was just to come up here and get the little blast of green. I'll pop some video in of where we are. In fact, hopefully this video will even show the 7 bridges that are there, or at least one of them. So this is where I am at the moment. It's what they call a beauty spot. It's an interesting car park, especially at night. There's lots of strange adulty things going on up here. I did think it was a rumour until this time last year. We were up here doing a radio event, and we finished around about 7:30 in the evening, and there were a few people, shall we say, wandering around, which was interesting, shall we say. So maybe the rumours aren't so rumourish. So anyway, I thought I'd just come up here for a couple of 5 minutes rest and shoot a video. So that's where we are. Other things, still no go on the job front. Had a couple more interviews, and I'm getting, it's almost like an automated email. I know it's not, but it looks like it. Just saying, thanks, but there were stronger candidates. Deep down, I do think they look at my age and work it out from the CV that how old I am, because it has a work history, and I've worked all my life. I left school at 16 and went straight into full-time employment, and up to now The most time I was unemployed in total is 3 months. That's my total time off up till this year, and so far this year I've already beaten that time in. So that's it for me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I do post occasionally. I've been hit the alert bell so that you do get notifications when I post. I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.